How do I get into character? Well, there's two aspects. One is physically, I need to make sure that my instrument is warmed up, that my voice is ready to go, that my breath control is working well. Especially when I'm playing a character like Sume, who has a lower pitched voice, I have to make sure that all of my low resonators are working, and all that good stuff. But then, and I do that in the car while I'm driving to my section. I have a little warm-up routine that I do. But then when I get there, getting a character is about understanding what's going on in the scenes, in the moment, and understanding what the psychological agenda of that character is, sort of what makes them tick. And when I understand the psychological agenda of the character, and I understand what's going on in the situation, then I play pretend in that situation, and the voice that comes out is usually appropriate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a question. What makes Sune from Wolf's Rain your favorite character?
Oh, I see that.
I think what makes Sume from Wolf's Rain my favorite character is that Wolf's Rain was sort of a dream come true project for me. When I was first starting as a voice actor, I worked in New York City, and I worked in a whole bunch of great shows. But I felt like I had sort of maxed out. The New York market was smaller than the LA market, and I was curious what it might be in LA. And at that time, I heard this little show called Cowboy Bebop. You may have heard of it. Someone played me the dub for Cowboy Bebop, and I thought, oh my god, I want to work with those people. Oh, they sound amazing. So I moved to LA, and I started working with them. But of course, by the time I got there, Cowboy Bebop was over. They'd finished it. But I didn't expect to work with Cowboy Bebop. Clearly, it was already dubbed. But that same production crew was going into a new show, and this new show was Wolf's Rain. And not only was it done by the same studio in animation, same animation studio, same character designer, same composer, different animation director, but when it came to America, it was the same dubbing studio. So Mary Elizabeth McGlynn was directing it, Sarah Lone Productions was producing it, so it was a lot of the same team. This is the people I wanted to work with. On top of that, Wolf's Rain had these deep mythological themes and storytelling aspects that really appealed to me. And actually, me and the director, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, would geek out over the episodes before we'd go in to record stuff, because she wanted to know, what words could we use. The word in Japanese is rakuen, paradise. Can we use the word heaven? And I'm like, no, you can't really use the word heaven because that has different meanings in the Abrahamic religions than in Hinduism and Buddhism. So we were going deep down the rabbit hole to make sure that the show was just so. So that show had a lot of both metaphysical meaning to me, and also because Mary Elizabeth really pushed me in that show. I think she helped me grow as an actor, and I was able to do things as Sume that I had never been able to pull off from an acting perspective before. So on many different counts, that was one of my favorite shows to work on, and I still think it's heartbreaking to this day.
Can you do the line, the paradise can kiss my ass? Please.
Yes, it's when they're leaving the town, and it goes, paradise can kiss my ass.
Somebody already asked me a question about Zagatas, so I have a different one for you.
Okay.
So considering that Slayers has been, the original production was a ways time ago, and considering you're still working now, what are some of the things that have changed over the years since you initially recorded for Slayers or whatever, and now in the voice acting industry?
In the voice acting world?
Yeah, and if you can answer as Mr. Zagatas, then
Naira. I'm not sure if I can answer as Mr. Zagatas, because Mr. Zagatas doesn't know much about the voice acting world. He's a shaman who has to fight creatures. I think what has changed most probably in the voice acting world between then and now is the massive reach of anime. That anime historically in America has always come over in waves, right? So there was Astro Boy and then it disappears, and then there's Gigantoid that disappears, then Speed Racer and it disappears. One of the big waves was Robotech, right? That was a big wave of anime and then it disappeared. When Slayers was coming out, that was also about the time of Pokemon. And that era, the Pokemon era, anime came and it stayed. And the reason it stayed is because the internet existed. Suddenly, anime fans were no longer geographically isolated from each other. They were able to maintain a community on the internet. And that meant that the fan base didn't dry up when the content stopped getting broadcast. And so Slayers was one of those early shows that everyone could get on VHS and DVD, And so it was sort of still an underground thing, but it was an underground community. Then about the mid-noughts, like 2005, 6, whatever, Cartoon Network started showing anime on Adult Swim, which had Robin and all sorts of other stuff, and that really exploded the fan base for anime. And so now this idea that we have these conventions with 50,000 people at Anime Expo or Otakon or even more, that the reach and the popularity of anime is so much greater than it was before. Ironically, there's more piracy than there ever was before, and the studios have a much harder time making any money. So the popularity is huge. I mean, look how many people are at the convention. But that appreciation for anime doesn't always translate into money being paid to the people who make it. And if the studios and the artists who make this can't get paid for their work, then the quality will decline and decline and decline, and they won't be able to attract the best artists to do it. So in a weird way, anime has never been more popular, and at the same time, it has never been less supported financially. And that's not a sustainable market. It's not a sustainable business model. Something's going to have to change. Otherwise, this anime thing that we know and love will dry up.
Can you give me one line as Legatus?
Sure. Do you have a favorite line as Legatus?
But as soon as you started talking, I was like, oh my god.
I'll give you a spell cast. How about that? Raw 2!
First off, Mr.